Okay, good afternoon, class. Welcome to this afternoon lesson of physics. And I'm Noel. I'm going to take you through this topic of modern physics. Modern physics is a branch of physics that deals with the nuclear model of an atom. So this afternoon, we want to look at the branch of physics that deals with the nuclear model of an atom. Now, you may need to ask yourself, what could be the reasons for studying modern physics? Is it helpful? Is it necessary? The answer is, it is very, very helpful. Now, by the end of this topic, you should be able to use the nuclear and atomic models to understand the production of X-rays and radioactivity. You could have heard of X-rays, maybe X-ray machines in hospitals, but you don't know how they work, or you don't know how they are produced. So by the end of this lesson, by the end of this topic, you're supposed to be knowing how X-rays are produced, and you'll be able to know what radioactivity is and what are the importances of radioactivity. Now, for today's lesson, we are going to concentrate on the structure of an atom. As we've seen that modern physics deals with the nuclear model of an atom. So for today, we are going to concentrate on the structure of an atom. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to describe the atom. You should be able to define nuclides and isotopes. You should be able to represent nuclides with their atomic numbers and atomic masses. You should be able to give examples of isotopes. So in this lesson, we are going to know what an atom is. We shall be able to know what nuclides are. We shall be able to know what isotopes are. We shall be able to define atomic mass and atomic number. Now, let's look at the structure of an atom. You could have heard of an atom in chemistry. You could have studied about an atom in chemistry, and maybe you may know what an atom is. So before we look at the structure of an atom, we need to define what an atom is. So an atom is defined as the smallest electrically neutral particle of an element that can take part in a chemical reaction. The smallest electrically neutral particle of an element that can take part in a chemical reaction. Now, in 1913, a physicist called Rutherford and Bohr came up with what we call Rutherford model of an atom. Rutherford model of an atom. Now, what does this model say? According to Rutherford and Bohr, they say that an atom consists of a central nucleus in which the atom's mass is concentrated, and that this nucleus is surrounded by electrons which orbit around the nucleus. So in an atom, we have the central part, which is called the nucleus, and outside the nucleus we have what we call shells, where electrons are. Now, still in this model, they came up and said that The atom consists of three particles, and that is the protons, the neutrons, and the electrons. So an atom consists of three particles, and that is the protons, the neutrons, and the electrons. Now, the protons and neutrons are found in the nucleus of an atom. The protons and the neutrons are found in the nucleus of an atom, and they are referred to as nuclei particles or nuclide particles, whereas the electrons are found outside the nucleus or in the shells. Now we have some examples of atoms here. So you can look at the hydrogen atom. You can see the central part. This central part is called the nucleus. Then outside the nucleus is what we have, where we have the shells, and you can see the electron here in the shell. So inside the nucleus here we have protons and neutrons. Then outside the nucleus here we have electrons. The same as to this helium atom, we have electrons outside here, and protons and neutrons, you can see them inside. Then also this neon atom, we have you can see we have electrons outside here, and the protons and neutrons are found inside there. So when we come to this table, we have we want to see, we have name of the particle, we have its symbol, we have the charge and the location. Now the protons, what charge do they carry? The protons carry a positive, they carry a positive charge, and they are found inside the nucleus. What about the neutrons? The neutrons carry no charge. You can see that the charge here is 0. And they are found also in the nucleus of an atom. What about the electrons? The electrons carry a negative charge, and they are found outside the nucleus of an atom.